Breaking news! The Lagena brothers have just found something that made them shudder, and the once buzzing dig ended abruptly. What terrifying mystery have they concealed? The reality they discovered might never be accepted by the world. The History Channel's popular reality series, The Curse of Oak Island, has come under fire in recent weeks following the discovery of some centuries-old indigenous artifacts, which prompted local officials to shut down a large portion of the show's dig operation, causing several archaeologists to be sent packing. Fans are already speculating as to whether the Laginas and their crew will ever experience a return to normalcy, not to mention the future of Oak Island. During the final dig on the island, the Lagena brothers and their crew unearthed a bizarre find leading to the closure of Excavation. While the Lagena brothers and metal detector specialist Gary Drayton have mostly found mud, wood, and other metal implements on the 140 acres of the purportedly cursed Oak Island, they have also found a number of rare artifacts. But what precisely are these insane discoveries they managed during the final excavation in the whimsical realm of Oak Island? There is yet another challenge for the men on the Curse of Oak Island. In an effort to prevent them from digging on the island, the Canadian government intervened. Finding underground entrances to what they think is the riches was the objective, though. Regrettably, bureaucracy is getting in the way. The team discovered what could have been a hidden room next to the garden shaft. Doug engaged Dumas Contracting Limited to come in and work as excavators to dig them down and into these potential chambers. He did this by giving them a call. They think they have discovered pathways leading to a potential hidden treasure on the island. The crew was forced to wait since it would take 50 days to descend 75 feet as a result. They thought they may have just discovered a network of tunnels and chambers leading to the fabled hidden wealth. Additionally, they think one of the artifacts they discovered was of Viking provenance, which is much older than they had anticipated. But there is a new issue now. The hire of excavators, according to the Canadian government, indicates that the Lagena brothers require a mining warrant. Even though they are not officially mining, red tape has once again turned the authorities against the crew searching for wealth. Not all fans, though, appeared shocked. The Canadian government wants to stop a group of well-documented gold diggers from blindly rebuilding a wooden shaft that descends to an unknowable depth on an island where 6 treasure hunters have already perished doing the same thing. And they're the bad guys in this situation, a fan wrote on Reddit. The Canadian government has already meddled with the Lagena brothers' search for treasure on the Curse of Oak Island. They stopped conducting a significant portion of the island's excavation work in 2021. The Lagena brothers' crew discovered many hundred-year-old indigenous artifacts at this time. The crew found First Nation Mi'kmaq pottery fragments on the island during Season 9. Marty Lagena stated in an episode at the time that they would avoid using archaeological techniques as they awaited the outcome of the situation. The only change that came as a consequence was a tightening of the show's rules. The brothers switched from conventional archaeological approaches to unconventional digging tactics at that time. This season they improved on that by mapping out places beneath the island using modern technology, allowing them to locate hints and potential entrance routes without needlessly excavating. But the excavation led to a fresh dispute with the Canadian authorities. Will obstacles keep standing in the way of the Lagena brothers' search for the lost fortune on the Curse of Oak Island? Who knows? In the 6th season episode Voyage to the Bottom of the Cenote, things take a worrying turn as treasure seeker Marty Lagena makes the optimistic but hasty declaration, "Here we are in H8. We're going to keep looking. What may possibly fail?" When metal detecting specialist Gary Drayton discovers a possible top pocket discovery amid the loot, the squad has no notion of the fate that is about to befall them. Coming from the more optimistic of the 2 treasure-hunting Lagena brothers, these words have an especially ominous ring to them. In a recent episode, the action in the Money Pit area came to a similar sudden halt when someone found what could be a bone fragment. The more the Lagena brothers and their team excavate, the closer they reach the legendary treasure. It's been almost a decade since they worked on unearthing the truth, but unfortunately they never reached such a great height until now. This season left them, and their fans shocked when they brought such discoveries to the audience's platter. However, things will take to the next level in The Curse of Oak Island Season 10, Episode 25, when the new discoveries connect all the pieces together. So, are they close to locating the treasure? Well, fans are curious to learn this. And the hits keep coming. The next episode will solve another enigma. On Lot 5, Laird Niven resumes his excavation work. The crew will search for the secret buried beneath the triangle-shaped marsh as they move on. The team will continue digging, but they will soon get startling information that links Lot 5 to the triangle-shaped marsh. When the crew keeps digging in Money Pit, they'll also discover a remarkable discovery. They are now more prepared than ever to solve the puzzle. Marty, Craig, and Charles have been getting ready to down the 82-foot shaft for the past week. The crew didn't think there could be a tunnel underneath the shaft's terminus, since one of the sides kept sinking. They chose to independently verify it despite this theory. Charles made the decision to go first and offer his services to everybody, but he had to go through specialized training first in order to achieve this. He descended and observed the garden shaft's dropping corner. After what he had seen, the group decided to dig at the bottom to see if there were any potential tunnels nearby. Marty, though, placed a hold on it. He intended to perform a self-check but needed more time to complete his dedicated training. Meanwhile, Alex, Rick, and Peter traveled to Italy to consult Umberto Musa, a specialist in coins and artifacts from antiquity. He examined the coins and found Oak Island had some ties to the Roman Empire as well. This happened as a result of one of the coins being a Roman coin. Byzantine gold coins were weighed against another coin to determine whether or not they were genuine. Laird Niven's continuing drilling on Lot 5 resulted in their most recent finding. In the meantime, Rick kept searching for answers in the area known as Nolan's Cross, but for the time being, the group keeps looking into the enigmatic circular depression in the marsh. They discover ceramic shards and charcoal fragments that they surmise may be remnants of a cooking pot or a campfire. The lead artifact that was discovered in the swamp is examined by experts in the war room. They think it is a lead cross and that it was probably made in France. This could be proof that the French had anything to do with the Oak Island enigma. The group looked for tunnels beneath the garden shaft using a probing drill. They discovered a little quantity of wood that could be proof of a tunnel. This time, Gary Drayton uses a metal detector to check the recent spoils while the heavy equipment operator continues his work. Two substantial iron spikes that Gary immediately finds are both dated to the 1700s. If the artifacts are actually from the 18th century, the narrator speculates that Smith's Cove flood tunnel builders rather than the Truro Company, who built Shaft 5 in 1850, are more likely to have left them behind. Later that day, Marty Lagina and Craig Tester participate via Skype at the War Room meeting of the Fellowship of the Dig. The crew is informed by Marty and Craig that they just met Jeremy Church, a geophysicist working for Eagle Canada's seismic exploration business, who appears in Season 6, Episodes 1 and 3. The data from the extensive seismic survey of the eastern half of Oak Island that Church and the rest of the Eagle Canada team completed back in Season 7, Episode 6 has finally been analyzed. The information points to the existence of an anomaly at a depth of around 60 feet close to the southeast corner of the cave-in pit. The anomaly significantly resembles the Smith's Cove flood tunnel since it is linear and looks to be moving toward the Money Pit. Remember how GPR specialists Steve Watson and Don Johnston found several subterranean anomalies close to the cave-in pit in Season 7, Episode 2? One of them was located at a depth of 82 feet, and the other was located at a depth of 91 feet. Following exploratory drilling, it was discovered that 4 feet of sand were present between 99 and 109 feet below the surface. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more blues from the world of mysteries. Today, Oak Island is still a fascinating location where tourists may follow in the footsteps of the pioneers by exploring the Money Pit's depths and taking in the incredible find that permanently altered the course of history. The island serves as a reminder that there are still mysteries to be solved, secrets to be revealed, and treasures hiding in the most unlikely locations. Click on the video links popping up for more interesting content, and we will catch you there in a minute.
Might there be a chance here to discover the treasure once and for all? Sure. There's all of these clues that strongly suggest this area holds significant interest.
Rick Lagena has finally found a breakthrough on mysteries of the infamous Oak Island. They just found something so bizarre that proves that gold is here on this island. Did they find a hidden chest that has a map to the actual treasure? Well, in this video, we are going to find that out. Craig Tester and Steve Guptill, along with Alex Lagina and the rest of the crew, are gathered to begin the latest large-scale excavation with the hope that they will uncover the second shaft, over 100 feet deep, and built in the early days of the 18th century, believed to be only a few feet southeast of the original Money Pit. To do this, they will be digging up the first ever searcher shaft on Oak Island. Their current goal is to obtain some pieces of the shaft and conduct dendrochronology on it, which will be able to tell them the year this wood was formed on a tree. According to Craig, if anything will be able to tie them back to the original money pit, it would be shaft 2. The tree rings they spot on the wood will tell them when it was cut down. If they can uncover and confirm the date to around 1805, they will not only be able to locate the original money pit, but also find the source of the precious metals they have detected in the area. They excavate a big piece of wood they believe could have belonged to one of the long walls. But the question remains, does this belong to shaft 2? According to Rick Lagina, the second shaft is like the Holy Grail in terms of significance. They are closer than ever to finding the money pit. The wood they pull out is rounded and thick, which Craig believes is the outside of the tree, and could be excellent for their testing. They take multiple samples of this wood when Marty Lagina arrives on site, and they decide to use a mirror to take a closer look at what's down there by reflecting light into the dark corners. Marty describes how incredible it is what people in the past were able to accomplish with their limited technology, but also how they need to think to find the money pit. Gary uses his metal detector and finds a signal in one of the scoops of dirt, pulling out a rosehead spike which remains in great condition, possibly from the 1700s. Between the 1780s and mid-1800s, rosehead spikes were created for construction. This could be another clue. They note a lot of boards in the dark pit, and they decide to try and take some of those beams off the walls. Rick notes the mix of older wood and how the second shaft was built in the early 1800s, likely a great match to that old wood. If they find a match between that wood and this time frame, they will have the first discovery shaft on Oak Island, an amazing accomplishment. The operator of the excavator is flying blind but being instructed by Scott as they carefully maneuver the excavator's bucket down this shaft and scrape it along the walls for wood samples. However, they face a setback when their first sample falls out of the bucket and splashes into the water below. This is a great challenge, but Billy the operator triumphs as he pulls out a massive beam of wood. Gary then goes to check if there is any metal in the wood by passing a detector over it. When there is no signal of metal, he determines this is a good sign as it suggests a very antiquated style of construction.
First ever searcher shaft on Oak Island.
True?
Well, we think. That we know of.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now they ask themselves if someone could have reconstructed the top part of shaft 2 after it was originally built in 1805. They may have found the evidence to find the original money pit. This area is a landmark for them. This operation has been an incredible success. Back at the Oak Island Research Center, Marty has met with a few people who will be involved in the well drilling and to get on the same page as they move forward. Marty Lagena explains that he has been focused on the metals detected in the water. A few weeks back, some scientists had broken down the results of the testing they had conducted on the island and zeroed in on a yellow district which had persistently high levels of copper, lead, zinc, and tin. Their testing has them looking at a 2,500 square foot region known as the Pie. Dr. Michelle believes that what they are looking for is in the golden egg section they have. So Marty is determined that this is where they will be drilling all the wells to better evaluate the area. The next morning, the crew gathers to begin their testing and digging. While drilling in the golden egg, they have come across evidence that suggests a possible structure in the area at a depth of almost 100 feet. Mike from Choice Solid Drilling explains that the sample he pulled out is soft at the top, and we learn that there is no wood in the sample, but this is a good sign as it points to them getting close to something. Marty believes that if there is something there, they will find it in that hole. Peter suggests taking some tests of the water for metal testing, and they decide to ask Dr. Spooner to take a sample. Later that afternoon, Marty returns after he is told they have made progress in the EN13 borehole made in the golden egg. Just the other day, the crew believed they had almost hit a man-made structure as they drilled nearly 100 feet underground. The new sample under a yellow cone was measured against EN13, and what they found was something coming out of the well, like loud booms that went on for half a minute. The belief is that they may be drilling near something and air getting into it. The implication being something is open down there or collapsing. Dr. Spooner believes there must be a void. All of these clues point towards something happening in this area. Dr. Spooner holds up a sample of the water which looks yellow in the sunlight. This darker water indicates they are close to a source of wood. This development has piqued the interest of Rick Lagena. especially if it means that an underground collapse is pointing to an open chamber. They believe that water has moved from a tunnel or shaft, and all of this information is vital to know where the traces of metal are coming from. They hope that their next drilling spot will reveal even more information. The next day, they discover another Roman coin which the team has connected to descendants of Vikings, which could be important for their discussions. The historian on Oak Island explains that the Norse had reached Iceland and Greenland before 1021 AD, and after that just a short ride away in Newfoundland, which is 600 miles northeast of Oak Island. For this reason, they are headed to that Viking settlement that was established more than a millennia ago and has been labeled by the Canadian government as a National Historic Site. Today, it is the only recognized Viking settlement in North America. According to Rick, the descendants of these Vikings are an important detail needed to understand how an old world treasure could have made its way to Oak Island.
In the Viking Age.
Oh?
And fortunately, I have a replica here.
He believes that this history is vital for the ability of the person or people who came across the North Atlantic and do this work on Oak Island. Before their trip, they discuss bringing some of their findings like the old arrowhead along with them, as they believe they may have some connection to these Vikings and their descendants. The historian then mentions that the Viking settlement was only discovered in the 1960s, and this makes Marty laugh, as it means that there could be many more not yet discovered. The historian agrees and even believes this could mean the Vikings and Templars making their way further past Newfoundland and into Oak Island is very possible. They even have relics that point to that conclusion. Marty believes that if anything happened on Oak Island as far back as the 1200s, then it almost certainly has to be some kind of activity done by the Vikings and their descendants. Based on what they know currently, it almost has to lead to them, as very few people in that period knew about this island. It is very possible that they could have brought along the Knights Templar or any number of other people to the island with the intention of depositing something. This leads to the Laginas wanting to launch an expedition. After finding another coin on Lot 5, Alex is very excited about the crew going to L'Anse aux Meadows, or the Viking settlement on Newfoundland, and looking around while Alex remains back at the island. New insight and perspective is always important on their quest to uncover the secrets and treasures of Oak Island. Thank you so much for watching and liking this video. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. Let us know in the comments what you think about Oak Island's many mysteries and treasures. Do you think they are getting closer to uncovering the truth of the island? If you love this content and never want to miss an update, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on.